Hello to all my many friends, also to my many enemies out there on YouTube. Once again, this is another episode of Roosevelt Sounds Off, and this is Roosevelt Sounds Off Part 20. In a little bit I'm going to stop numbering these things and just give a title in the, search bar or title bar or whatever that thing is at the top of the page when you fill it out. But anyway, I'm back with another episode of Roosevelt Sounds Off, and today I would like to discuss, there's 2 or 3 major issues that I'd like to discuss, but I'm going to try to tie it all together. First of all, I want to talk about the battle with the Confederate flag in the South, but also too, I'm going to use this to also deal with a much more bigger problem, a problem that affects us. And I'm talking about, when I say us, I mean black people as a community as a whole. I'm going to talk about this flag, and then I'm going to tie these 2 subjects together. So get ready. And the thing I have to say about the Confederate flag, well, first of all, before I even go there, I have to also, because the debate did not really come up with the flag until the shooting of the church in Charleston, South Carolina, and that was the Mother Emanuel AME Church in Charleston, where the pastor, Senator Pinckney, and 8 others were murdered in cold blood by Dylan Roof. Okay, I said his name correctly this time because I think I mispronounced it on the previous video, but I think I said his name right this time. But then it came up in South Carolina after this whole thing. The question was asked, by white people and basically even people from the governor and from the government down there in South Carolina and some other places in the South, was the Confederate flag a symbol of racism? And I guess the conclusion they came up with was yes, because even today, I don't know when some of you are going to be watching this, but today they came up with a vote to where they're going to take the Confederate flag off of all of their state buildings. Because yes, as far as I'm concerned, to me, it is a symbol of slavery. It's a symbol of hatred. It's a symbol of Jim Crow. It's a symbol of bigotry. It's a symbol of separation. Yes, it's a symbol for all of that. So a whole lot of black people, are very happy that the so-called Confederate or rebel flag is going to be taken down, which is a good thing. That is, if you're going to remove this flag from certain state buildings in South Carolina and other places in the South, yes, that is a good thing. But I don't want us to lose sight of an even bigger problem I feel that we have besides marching and complaining about a flag. And this is where I'm going to tie these 2 things in, so get ready. I'm going to bring this back to where I live, here in Chicago, Illinois. I'm going to deal with or talk about some of the violence that we experience every single day in Chicago, Illinois. Because yes, I know that we have issues of prejudice. Yes, there are issues of racial bigotry. Yes, there are issues of police brutality. And yes, I do feel that sometimes, police are too hard in their approach. And yes, sometimes I do feel that police do profile black people, in cases of race, and can easily get away with doing it under the color of law and authority. Yes. Are there more blacks in jail or in prison than whites? Yes. Is the justice system kind of off balance when it comes down to black people? Yes. Is the employment rate unbalanced when it comes off to black versus white? Yes. But even though all of these are problems that we see every day, or basically kind of sometimes, if you personally, you don't personally experience all of these problems every day. Just like I don't personally experience these problems every single day. But the problem here in Chicago that we experience every single day and every single night is the violence. I'm particularly talking about the violent weekend over the 4th of July that we had last weekend. And one particular thing I'm going to deal with is the shooting of a 7-year-old boy named Amari Brown. To me, this was very, very senseless. Now, the story goes that he and some other 26-year-old woman were out, I guess, in our area here in Chicago called Humboldt Park. They were out around 11 to midnight, I guess, kind of enjoying the weather or just enjoying the holiday, just out. And then all of a sudden a car passes by, something in there shoots, or somebody leans out the car and then they fire a weapon, and it ends up hitting him, the 7-year-old Amari Brown, and it also wounds the 26-year-old. But they took both to the hospital. The 26-year-old woman survived, but Amari Brown passed on. And now, allegedly, they blame Amari's father, Antonio Brown, for this shooting because they tried to say, or at least the police are trying to say, allegedly, that Antonio Brown was the shooter. And our police superintendent, Gary McCarthy, even made, to me, a very, very bad statement. Because they put this boy, and I'm not talking about the 7-year-old, I'm dealing with the father, Antonio Brown, right now. They talked about his arrest record. They said that he had over, allegedly, 44 arrests. And his police record might be 22 pages or something long. And Superintendent McCarthy made the statement saying, well, you know, he was just in trouble back in April, or maybe if he had been locked up or in custody, his son would still be alive. Now, some people in the street are saying that he wasn't the intended target, but some people are. But to me, whether he was the father was the intended target or not, I don't think that that's something that you say to a grieving father. It's kind of like kicking a person sort of when they're down. And I don't think that that was right for Superintendent McCarthy to say, and a very, very bad choice of words for him to say, or a very bad statement for him to make, that if the father had been in custody, then, you know, his son would still be alive, when the father and his family is grieving for the 7-year-old. I don't think that was right. Because they tried to say that allegedly his father, Antonio Brown, is a very high-ranking, long-time gang member. And that's what I have to come and talk about today, is some of our choices. I'm talking about this today because just like we, or me myself, because everybody who knows me personally and has watched my videos over the last couple of years know for a fact that I am a very, 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 and again I say very, hard man against the police department. I'm very hard against the police department. But I want to make this thing, and I'm trying to work hard as I get older and maybe a little bit wiser, to try to make some of these discussions a little bit more balanced. Because one thing I'm discovering, especially with this shooting this weekend that was senseless, we as black people cannot have one way or limited rage. You know, we're upset whenever, you know, a white man goes into a church and kills 9 people, or we're upset when a police officer might shoot an unarmed black person, but it seems like we're not upset. We don't have the same outrage whenever it's somebody, a regular person of our own community who gets killed by one of us. We never get outraged when it's one of us who is committing the crimes against each other. So no, we cannot have limited or selective outrage. That's the word that I'm looking for, is selective, when it comes down to these things. Because yes, even though there are situations of police brutality, yes, even though there are situations of joblessness and poverty, we cannot just walk away from our responsibilities when it comes to these kinds of things. We just cannot say all the time that white people are so much at fault and the police are so much at fault until we completely look at ourselves. because it's many of us who do things that, you know, we shouldn't be doing. It's many of us who are committing crimes that we should not be committing. I'm pretty sure if I walked outside right now, it wouldn't be a white person who did something to me. It'll be a black person to rob me for my wallet or my cell phone. Because it seems like these days that's what they rob you for. If they rob you, the first two things they ask you for is your wallet or all your money and your cell phone. It would be another black person to take advantage of me. It's sad to say that we do this kind of thing to each other, but I mean, that's the case. And a whole lot of people always try to say, well, you know, that it's poverty. You know, people do all of this kind of stuff because they're poor. And, you know, it's joblessness in the black community. And I don't know, I can't say. Maybe some of that is true, but I know that there's many more people out there that could be poor and could be struggling. And they're not holding people up and robbing people and killing people just to call themselves getting ahead. It comes a time that we have to also, you know, even though we might blame others, and we know that, you know, some other people, you know, do things. We know that there's cases of profiling and police brutality out there, but we cannot walk away from self-responsibility as black people. The man who was in a car and gunned down 7-year-old Amari Brown, that wasn't a white man or a cop who did it. It was one of us who did it. And right now, there's a reward of $6,000 out there for the name or the arrest and conviction of this person who gunned down this 7-year-old. And me, I hope that they catch him. It's just a shame that a father and a mother and a family even have to bury this 7-year-old child all because of foolishness and stupidness. And they tried to say that his father was an alleged gang member. Even if this was the case, even I'm not trying to, I don't know Antonio Brown personally. I can't say whether he is or whether he isn't. If he isn't, hey, that's great. But if he is, this is something else I'm getting to. We have to stand up and also take responsibilities for our choices. Because sometimes the choices that we make sometimes could be bad. In our lives, if we're part of a gang, we need to just get out of that kind of a thing. Get out of that kind of thug mentality of killing and stabbing and robbing and most of all shooting. It's to the point now you can't say anything to any of these young people because even if I'm on the bus every single day, if one just steps on my foot and stuff, I'm too afraid to say anything because I'm too afraid I get myself killed. If one is too close to me, I'm almost too afraid to say something because I'm too afraid of getting myself gunned down. Every single place in Chicago, I always have to look over my shoulder. Sometimes I get tired of looking over my shoulder every single second. The reason how come I got to look over my shoulder every single second is not because of a cop or because of a so-called white man, but because of black people. You know, try not to use the N-word. Because a whole lot of people always say, well, if they act like this, if they want to be thugs and wear their pants down below their behinds, these are just nothing but niggas. I'm trying not to really go there. Because I've heard people on other Facebook or other YouTube videos, should I say, saying this. And I'm trying to be a little bit better and above that. But one day I just might have to go there because at this point, it is what it is. If you're participating in this kind of behavior, got the long braids and the long dreadlocks and blasting the hip-hop music and everything and talking about, oh yeah, man, you know what I'm saying, man, every single second, you know what I'm saying, man, you can't finish a whole sentence without, oh man, you know what I'm saying, oh, that sound like a whole nother language. Yeah, maybe you are acting like a nigga. In other words, acting ignorantly. There's no need to act like this. There's no need to behave like animals. Because that seems like what the younger generation has evolved into is animals. And yes, I blame much more the parents because it seems like parents are having their children younger and younger. So basically the only thing we have is a generation of children trying to raise children with no father in the home. And basically, turning to hip hop, because I think that hip hop and rap is a big part of the problem. Because hip hop, some of you all who don't know, was supposed to be a replacement for fathers in the home. Because many black youths, nowadays, is even back when I was growing up in the 70s and 80s, didn't have fathers in the home. So that's how come they turned to hip-hop artists. Because the hip-hop artists said, okay, if you don't have a father, okay, we're going to teach you how to talk. We're going to teach you how to walk. We're going to teach you how to dress and how to act. And they have developed this thug mentality that the hip-hop music speaks about. And I just cannot believe that some, people, and even some stupid, low-minded, ignorant pastors of churches that are trying to bring hip-hop and rap into the church, thinking that they can capture the minds and change the minds of young people, trying to use something that is street, trying to use something that is unwise, trying to use something that started out as being ungodly, call themselves trying to clean it up and sanctify it for the use of Jesus Christ, but it never will work, because you can never use something unclean to bring about change which is supposed to be clean, if that makes any sense. It can never happen. They're just using certain vehicles and what I would like to call gimmicks to get to young people to bring them into the church. Trying to use something that is ungodly, unchristian-like, and trying to throw Jesus' name in it to attract the youth. I mean, I'm sorry. If I wanted to hear hip-hop, I got over close to 5,000 to 6,000 songs on my phone or on my tablet. If I wanted to hear hip-hop, R&B, or neo-soul, or jazz, blues, dusties, steppers, any of this, I could listen to all the music on my phone or on my tablet or on my private collection. But when I come into the church, and I mean into the house of God, I always thought it's supposed to be something different. It's supposed to be different. Because to me, if you are supposed to come to God or come into the church, you're not supposed to be the same. It says in the Bible that he is in Christ, who is in Christ is a new creation. Old things are passed away, and behold, all things have become new. You don't bring those same old things over here into the church. But that's what's trying to happen, trying to use something that is street and trying to bring it into the church. And you should know that it's not working or not gonna work, because it's not even working out in the streets, because that is hip-hop is the downfall of the black community. Because they're just acting out the messages that they're hearing within the music. I mean, you're too afraid to even speak to them and say something to them. It's just so, sometimes you're just so ignorant. I was on the bus the other day, and instead of getting up, they sell earbuds, or these cheap earbuds, at Walmart for $3 all day long. They want to get on the bus playing their phones with the, playing this loud, demonic sounding rap and hip hop music through the speakers of their phone. And one day, I was just curious a couple of months ago. I was just curious. I asked the guy, I was like, what are you doing playing the music and everything with no headphones? I was like, everybody does not want to hear that. The first thing he tells me, well, I just don't have no headphones right now. I don't have no headphones right now. Stupid! You can have some headphones right now. You buy everything else. Go and get some. Sometimes it's just crazy out here. And anytime you do all of this kind of stuff, especially kill people in your own kind in the same community in which you live, to me, you're a contributor to white supremacy. What that means is white people already want to see you put down, and that you're already down as far as they're concerned anyway. Especially when you act in this particular way. Because it's a shame that all of us get judged on the actions of a few of you all. You're a contributor to white supremacy. And I'll tell you, this might be a little bit off the subject, but I have to go here too. Another contributor to white supremacy is black women who, just because they get pregnant by a black man, the first thing that they want to go do is put him on child support. You're only making this man have to go through the white courts and, answer to the white system, probably stand before a white judge, all for paying child support. You want to go to put this, because the thing is, what I've learned is something with a whole lot of women is that they just don't want the money. I mean, maybe, black men should pay for their children and everything, or, that they make, and take care of the children that they make, that they done laid down with these women to have. But at the same time, with a whole lot of black women, it's not always about the money. It's like they want to ruin your lives, and they basically want to embarrass you. Want to, cause you to get arrested and get a felony. I was looking at a YouTube video like a couple of months ago that really, really disturbed me. It was a YouTube video that was taken in a courtroom of a, couple, black man, black woman, they were broken up or divorced at this time. And I guess she put him on child support, and basically, he worked, had kind of a decent paying job, and his child support order was $1,600 a month. And, because of that big amount, I think he missed like one or two payments, like here and there. But overall, he tried his best to keep up with his child support. But he missed like a couple of payments, and she actually pushed, because the state wasn't doing it. The state was leaving him alone. She is the one who went and pushed for a felony, or pushed the courts to put a felony on this man's record. And this man in court, it really disturbed me, because this man in court broke down and cried because she put a felony on his record. Even the judge who they were standing before said, and I quote, that she, the woman, went too far. Because it seems like with black women in these kind of situations, they want to hurt you. They want to embarrass you. It's not enough that they could, cheat on you. It's not enough for you to maybe get a divorce. It's not enough that maybe they stop the man from even seeing his child. No, they want to go and hurt you, cause a felony to go on your record, cause your driver's license to be taken, cause you to be thrown in jail, cause you to be arrested. Just all out of spite. And that's how come I even feel that this whole child care or child support industry or child support system needs to be overhauled. She went too far. And what the heck was his child support order $1,600 for? It don't take that much money to take care of no kid every single month. They put it all on the man. And I just cannot believe some stupid judge went along with a child support order that was $1,600. And the case was, when they were in court, he was applying for a moderation or redetermination in child support because she had him charged with a felony. He lost his job. And he couldn't get, employed because he had a felony on his record. And anytime you do this to a man, just break the man down in court and have the man crying. To me, some black women, I'm not going to say all, but some black women, you are also a contributor to white supremacy. You're just as bad as the gangster or the thug or the drug dealer who are destroying our community. You are just as bad. That you want to do this kind of a thing out of spite because you're upset or because you're angry. That's not the way it's supposed to work. All of these are contributions to white supremacy. So, to me, the solution would be, first of all, to black women, stop being so mean, stop being so spiteful, and just don't be so fast to always want to just try to put somebody on child support. To black men who are out here doing things that they shouldn't be doing, stop doing it. Get away from that thuggish lifestyle. Pull your pants up. Whenever you get done drinking something or whatever, don't throw it on the ground or throw the glass on the ground and break the glass. Put it in the garbage can. Carry yourself with some respect. That is what is lacking now in the black community, is respect. It used to be a time that, if a young person was out on the street, even if they were smoking a cigarette, if a man, and they knew that this man might have been a preacher or a deacon or just an older man was coming down the street, they would maybe try to put it out or hide the cigarette or whatever. No, nowadays it's like they'll blow smoke or cigarette smoke, and worse still, even weed smoke dead in your face, and will smoke weed on the bus and on the train and won't even care, because I've seen many examples of that too, where some woman was up there one day or something when I was on the train smoking a cigarette. And I'm sorry, I was allergic. I just had to sit up and say something. I had to tell her, look, honey, honey child, baby, everybody does not want to smell your cigarette smoke. Some people are allergic, And she immediately said that she was sorry or whatever. Then I saw something where, girls and guys are still smoking weed on the train. Everybody does not want to smell that. Everybody, when you wear your pants down to where people are something can see your dirty, stained drawers, everybody does not want to see it. Everybody does not want to hear your hip-hop music coming blasting from your phone or from your tablet. Carry yourself with much more respect and dignity, and have respect for people around you. Get out, if possible, even though it's hard to hardly find one or find a good one these days. Try to find a good Bible-based church. Get in it and hook up with the church and be active. Reconnect with spirituality and reconnect with God. Do something. Go back to school. Get a degree. Stay, if you're in school, stay in school. Work for something. Work for a goal. Get a job. Take care of your family. If we do these kind of things and carry yourself with much more dignity and respect, in the end, even though we know it's a whole lot of things out there, in the end, we will not be caught up in those traps that many people have gotten themselves caught up into. Because by staying out of trouble, you can easily avoid being stopped by the police or having people say something to you that shouldn't. You can avoid a whole lot of trouble if you stop doing what it is you're doing. Because surely it's not all police fault, because the police, they might be at fault for a whole lot of things, but they're not wrong all of the time. Yeah, I know some of y'all are shocked to hear me say that, but no, they are not wrong all of the time. So I think if all of us work together and carried ourselves with much more respect, and learn how to act and learn how to respect and to treat each other, at least, I think that we would have stronger families, because it does start at home with a mother and father teaching their children some of these values. So therefore, if we have stronger marriages, I've said it in another previous video, if we had good and stronger marriages, we would have stronger families, because a mother and a father, they could get together if they're married and raise respectable, godly seed. In this way, we can have stronger communities. So I think that is some of the ways that we can avoid some of the pitfalls and some of the violence here, in Chicago, and not only in Chicago, elsewhere also. If we learn how to talk to each other, if we just learn how to just open our mouth and just learn how to respect each other. We need to work on even more conflict resolution. How to resolve conflict without being violent. If we do some of these things, yes, we will have stronger communities. And that is my take on on all of this. And once again, this is Roosevelt Sounds Off. Be sure to comment and be sure to subscribe to the YouTube channel. I will see you next time. Peace and blessings to all.